You are listening to Live Free with Rebecca Packard. With this podcast, Rebecca will help spiritual entrepreneurs and mompreneurs experience emotional freedom so that they can create calm and balance in all areas of their life. If you're ready to release your emotional baggage, trauma, and that constant feeling of overwhelm, then you are in the right place. Your journey starts now. Here's your host, Rebecca Packard.
Hi, welcome back. My name is Rebecca Packard, and we are going to be talking about ping pong conversations. I know that sounds a little weird, but it's how I like to explain what is happening with our silent vibrational conversation and the people around us. If you tuned in last week, you heard us talk about what a silent vibrational conversation with the world around you is. And that is your frequency, your vibration, the energy that you're putting out. And you can hear more in depth about that if you go back and listen to that episode. But today, we're going to be talking about a ping pong conversation. And I know that sounds a little weird, but I always like to explain this to people in the space of think of yourself walking into a room or sitting down at a conversation and you have a basket full of ping pongs and you pick one up and you throw it at the person across from you. I know, seems silly. However, this is what you are constantly doing with the world around you, with your vibration, with your silent vibrational conversation that you're having with the universe, which is created and made up from the emotions that you carry, the experiences that you have, from the programs that you have, from society, from family, from all these different places, including media and whatnot. And so you have this basket full of ping pongs and you throw it at the person across from you. And now, depending on what happens next is what the ping pong conversation takes place. So they're going to sit on the other side of that table and they're going to pick up their ping pong and throw it at you. Now, ideally, these ping pongs are going to be just thrown and dropped to the ground, thrown and dropped to the ground. But when we get into a heated argument, or when we get into a space of fear, or we get into a space of disagreement, or anything like that, or agitation, annoyance, anxiety, this is where we're having a ping pong conversation that goes to the next level. And now our ping pong is going back and forth as though we were playing the game on a table. And it's going to shoot back and forth because now what it's doing is it's triggering us. It's triggering us, and then it shoots back to the other person, and it triggers them, and it shoots back to us, and it triggers us again, and it shoots back to them, and it triggers them again. I think you got the idea at this point, and it's just going to keep going back and forth until either one, somebody changes their vibrational frequency to step outside of the match, or two, there's an implode of energy. And that usually means the next level, right? This is either people hollering and blowing off their steam, or this is somebody walking away angry and one person will relax and the other person kind of stays angry and stoops. There's a lot of ways for that to take place, but ideally what we want to take place is the release of the energy without the excess of negativity. And so one of the things that I always tell people is if you find yourself in one of these ping pong conversations, or you find yourself in the space of having this conversation with a loved one, i.e. spouse, child, parent, you can start tapping. Now, I choose to tap on the back side of my hand in that gamut space. It's the space between your ring finger and your pinky finger. There's that little triangle on the back of your hand, and you can rub that space or you can tap it. Or I go to the clavicle space where you rest your index finger on your clavicle, lay the rest of your fingers down, and your middle finger and your ring finger end up in this little meaty spot, and you can tap that space or you can rub it. Okay? Now, what that does for you is it allows you to tap into your brain system, your endocrine system. It allows you to tap into your fight or flight response, which is being highly triggered by these ping pongs right now, and it allows you to redirect. You're kind of doing a reset. This is pressing your reset button. And what happens in this space, it is allows your amygdala and other aspects of your brain in your fight or flight response to release the hormones that allow you to wash away this conversation, allows you to wash away the emotions being triggered, and allows you to reset so that you can move forward with ease and grace, which is always lovely, right? However, sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes we escalate too quickly and we forget to do this. We can't break the loop. We choose to just keep throwing those ping pongs, which is when people get into verbal disagreements and you get a lot of yelling back and forth, and a lot of, well, you did, and that, because what we're looking to do is to just hurl the ping pongs faster and hit more spaces. We don't do this consciously. These are unconscious programs that we have collected throughout our families, throughout society, throughout history, different interactions. It's really crazy where all of these things come from. But the trick is that a lot of the times we don't even realize it's taking place. And so becoming the conscious person allows you to redirect the entire conversation. So if you find that this is happening, and you're in this type of ping pong conversation, if you lean into one of these tools or you actively choose, no, I'm not doing this, and you can say that either in your head or out loud, ideally in your head because it's less triggering to the person you're already in that conversation with, or you can say, I take my energy back, and you take that in your head. You can see that you actively can choose to stop the conversation. You actively break that cycle of the energetic occurrence that's taking place, and you are breaking that space of being in a matched vortex, a matched frequency, an interactive response, to stopping it. And what you're essentially doing is swatting the ping pong right out of the air. And so it stops. If you want to take that a step further, though, is not having these conversations in the space of releasing the trapped emotions that are causing you to go into these ping pong conversations. Now, this is really difficult in the space of recognizing, are you having the same ping pong conversations with certain people? Some people will say, oh my gosh, I have a kid and we're always arguing about blah, 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 blah. Well, that's because you both have ping pongs and you're both in this silent vibrational conversation with anger and frustration and aggression, and you're just hucking them back and forth, and it's bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. So if tapping or if just redirecting isn't working, this goes deeper than you. This could be a recreation of a conversation that you've had with other people, or that you've had with your own parents, or that you had with somebody else. And using the emotion code, we can release that. We can change the conversation. There's a lot of different things that go into how we communicate with each other. And so often we overlook the aspect of frequency and vibration, and we think that it's all words. But 90% of communication actually takes place with body language and frequency. And so it's really funny because more often than not, people aren't hearing your words. They're reading your vibration. They're reading the frequency that you are touching them with. And when we are choosing to attune our silent vibrational conversation with the words that we want to be saying, then everything kind of changes. It's really funny because for a very long time I had this tone of voice, and I love my mother to death, but I inherited it from her. And so oftentimes people would think I was angry while I was speaking. I'm like, I'm not angry at all, but my vibrational match and my tone of voice were not in alignment. And so changing that to bring those two things together, it allowed me to be received the way that I wanted to be, the way that I was trying to with the words that I was using. It allowed my vibrational conversation with the universe around me to match up to that. So keep that in mind. That is what a ping pong conversation is, and that is another way you can look at how are you showing up in the world? How are you leaving little breadcrumbs in the world? Because our words carry so much energy, and once they're out in the universe, we cannot take them back. They are out there, and they have affected the people that were either bystanders or they were taking in what we were saying on social media, or our children, or whoever it is. Once it's out, and you can't undo it. And the vibrational aspect is that is shared at the same time. And so think about that. Are you being received the way that you hope to be received? Or is your silent vibrational conversation and the verbal conversation that you're having with the world not a match? If you are looking to make them a match and align them, go to the show notes below and you can book yourself an emotion code session with me, and we can remove the emotions that are causing those to be misaligned, and you can learn more about emotion code and how it can serve you in your life moving forward. So I hope you're having a great day, and we will see you again next week.
Well, hey there. Thanks for listening to today's episode. We would love it if you would leave us a rating and review in your favorite podcast player. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.